Hello and welcome to episode 65 of the RetroSlot podcast. I forgot what's the podcast.
One of them, yeah.
I'm like, the RetroSlot podcast.
One of them.
I'm pretty excited about this episode. We have a lot of cool news to talk about. We're talking about a very cool game. This is my first time playing Little Sampson for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I got to tell you, spoiler alert, I was very impressed with this game. I can't wait to talk about it. I'm also very excited to talk about next episode's game. And I'm excited to talk about to Jay, too. We talk more often than we used to, but I still enjoy it. That's good.
This is true.
Briar's
like the brother I never have.
A brother from another mother.
Would have preferred, yes.
So yeah, we also have a couple of discussion topics. I want you to, even though mine is first on the list, I'd like to do yours first because yours is relevant to the GCX event that's coming up. The Guardian what's GCX stand for? Anything?
Just GCX. Guardian Expo, Guardian or Gaming Experience Expo or something like that.
Okay, cool.
Something.
All right.
Generic. So the question that I had is, what's your favorite flight snack? And this doesn't have to be like one that they give you. I mean, you could say you have one, but
so when I was younger, what we used to do is we used to basically fill our pockets with nipper bottles of alcohol.
Oh, I was like, where are we going with this?
There's like
not that much younger.
What's that?
I was thinking like as a kid.
No, like, younger, like a younger
7-year-old.
When I was old enough to travel with friends, but too young to be able to afford airplane priced alcohol.
Sure.
But I still didn't want to be sober, for God's sake, on a plane. No, sir.
Oh, you're not a fan.
No, I cannot stand. I cannot stand sitting still for like really that long.
Really?
Just quietly sitting still, especially. So, me, I'm a pretty big guy.
Oh no, really?
Not only am I wide, but I'm relatively tall. I'm not like obscenely tall.
Like what, 5'11" or something?
I'm 5'11", but all of my height is in my torso. So my inseam is 30, which is probably average for like somebody who's like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah.
Right. But my torso is much longer, so I have to buy like tall t-shirts, like size tall t-shirts. But what happens on airplane seats is that the headrest lands between my shoulder blades. So just like doing like sucks so bad. Like the whole flight, I'm just like this hurts. And at long flights, like if I fly out your way for like multiple hours on a plane, I am pretty goddamn miserable by the time I get there. I try not to fly coach anymore, but sometimes you just can't afford to buy like a $2,000 plane ticket.
I'm the opposite. It's a treat if I get to do first class, and it's usually because it's the mileage.
Yeah,
and it's like barely any more expensive because sometimes you can get deals on mileage stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
but the snack situation is it's important because they don't let you really bring like hot food on the plane. Like, that's not true.
When was the last time you flew?
They won't let you bring hot food.
You used to be able to smoke in the plane too.
Yeah, you used to be able to smoke in the plane. Like within my lifetime.
I was like, how far back we're going?
But that's not really true. They won't let you bring it into the terminal. Like you can buy if there's like you can buy hot food like in the terminal, and usually you can bring it on the plane, no big deal. But it's not like it's hot and it stinks like your food, so you don't want to really. I'm conscious of people around
your
me.
Neighbors.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, having this like amazing like tuna fish sandwich while everybody else got to smell your tuna fish.
They got their biscotti cookies in there looking at you.
But I don't want to eat like chips and stuff like that because that doesn't fill you up. That's more just an activity than it is like, you know what I mean? It's like I'm eating chips because I'm bored, not because like this is nutrition. So I'll go with usually like trail mix, nuts, or fruit. Like that's usually my go-to. But even fruit, it's like a little risky with fruit because you don't want to get all messy, right? You don't have like an orange that you got to peel and like then you got like orange juice all over your fingers. You know what I mean? That's so fun.
Like a banana.
Banana's perfect. That's a great idea.
Sensually.
Now you're talking.
Or an apple, perhaps.
Yeah, apple's good.
Or
apple's good.
like a fruit bar. I don't know. What about fruit chips?
Fruit chips? You know, I don't dabble in the fruit chips too often. I like them. They just don't enter my stratosphere too often.
They're delicious. I just don't like it when they add like extra sugar and stuff.
I feel like they add extra sugar to everything.
Yeah.
What's your way to go? How do you do it?
I've had this whatever they call it, routine of especially if I'm flying solo, I go to the bathroom like as soon as I get through security, because usually it's been an hour or two before I've left the house or whatever.
Yeah.
So I go to the bathroom and I come out and there's like a little mini mart right there, and I pick up a smart water with like the flip off top, you know, suck sport bottle or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
that's another thing. You can't bring your own water bottle.
Right. Well, you can bring like an empty one, and Portland's really good to have like the water
things.
That's
cool.
And I just bought a Yeti. My wife's been like hounding me about the plastic water bottle situation, so just like get a reusable one, and I just don't like metal or like the plastic.
Get a reusable one, so you got a Yeti.
And I'll give it a shot, but yeah, Yetis are not cheap. It's like anyways. But my wife is very recycle conscious, so I'm trying to respect that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I get the bottle of water, and then I get a singular Butterfinger.
Ooh.
And that's like I'm in the middle of the flight and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a Butterfinger. It's like that, like
nice, like a surprise Butterfinger.
Yeah, exactly.
In the middle of the flight.
Yeah, Butterfingers are not the same as they used to be. They changed the recipe whatever 4 years ago, and they're still good, but they're not as good.
I actually had the first Butterfinger I've had in like, I don't know, I want to say 20 years today.
Did you like it? The new Ferraro one?
Yes, I liked it, but you're right, it didn't taste the same, and it didn't have the same texture. Really,
they don't use molasses in the new ones, and they're more peanut buttery and softer. The new ones are.
Yeah. So I definitely missed the old one because it was very singular kind of experience. Why did they change it?
Just it got bought by Ferraro Chocolates.
Who were they before?
Nestle.
Nestle got bought.
Just I don't know if they bought the whole company or just specific types of candy. Yeah. So, that was a big thing. That was a big thing because it was my favorite candy. And then
so you looked into this.
It was a big thing. Yeah.
So goddamn problem.
It was like
we're gonna get to the bottom.
March of 2018, I believe.
Did you write any letters to anybody?
What is it? There was a petition online I signed. It had like 20,000 signatures on it.
That's it? Oh man, that's probably why they got bought. They weren't popular anymore.
Butterfinger BBs were like my favorite thing as a kid too.
Those are good. Those are good. You know what my favorite are?
Lay a finger
that size. Nobody would better lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
Yeah, it was
you know my favorite things that size are, and this is repulsive to some people, is yogurt covered raisins. Love them so much. They're so good.
I like those better than regular raisins. I will agree.
You don't like raisins at all?
Not by themselves.
No?
As an accoutrement, as like a mix in to something, sure.
Like trail mix or something?
Yeah, trail mix, add a little bit of sweetness. Not in cookies. Like, don't take away from the cookie.
Oh, you don't like the oatmeal raisin cookie?
I'd rather have oatmeal chocolate chip or something like that.
Oh.
Oatmeal butterscotch.
I like oatmeal raisin cookies because it's like I'm not doing like full on chocolate chip like debauchery to myself. Like,
I get pissed off when I get an oatmeal because I think it's chocolate chips, and then I start chewing. I'm like, motherfucker!
This is a goddamn raisin, you monster!
What else do I like raisins in? Like,
how about Raisin Bran? You like Raisin Bran?
Yeah, I don't like it in bread pudding or in like cinnamon rolls or anything like that.
I don't like bread pudding.
I love bread pudding. I don't like raisins in it though.
Yeah,
delicious. You don't like carbs on carbs on carbs?
I don't think the English make any foods I like. I think it's just a no-go zone the whole country, really.
What about beer? I mean, they make good beer.
Do they?
Briar's gonna start a war.
Like, it's not awful, but their penchant for warm beer is not great.
So you started on the little alcohol bottles. I was also going to ask, do you have any like travel hacks or tips that I should employ?
All my travel hacks come from like YouTube videos or like TikToks or Twitters or like life hack videos.
Give me the insight.
My father actually is pretty good at traveling because he used to travel. He'd basically be in a new city every week for, I don't know, 30 years, I think, just constantly on the road. So, he's the one who taught me never check baggage. If you need something definitely to be there, ship it via like FedEx or UPS. It's way more likely to get there on time than if you bring it on an airplane and check it in baggage. What else? Toiletries. He's got this like massive toiletry thing because it used to be you'd go to a hotel and hotel lobbies had like little stores, but you don't see that anymore. So like if you find out you don't have toothpaste at like a hotel, sometimes that could be a real nightmare. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really have any. My father, I should ask my father for like a top 10 list of like awesome travel hacks because I bet he'd have them because he travels constantly.
We're gonna have to check baggage though, because we got the two littles, and we're gonna be there for a week.
You get cheaper fare if you put them in the baggage.
Well, no, we have.
Do you have like little cages for your kids, that, like dogs? You put them, you put them under the plane.
I'm getting such a.
That's a travel hack.
No, just take this little candy piece made by NyQuil's. Not gonna,
What's great about that too is like if they cry on the plane, nobody gives a shit. You can hardly hear them. I think you're muted. Jay. You can't hear me. I can't hear you. Uh-oh. Why don't we very quickly disconnect the call and try and reconnect it? Is there some reason this has happened? I'm just going to disconnect the call and we'll reconnect it. Oh, sorry, podcast listeners. This is the first time this has ever happened on Discord, to be honest with you. Did that help?
Yes.
All right. Well, that was weird. I've never had that happen before.
All of a sudden.
Something new every day, I guess.
Thanks, Discord.
There we go. All right, we fixed it.
And we're back. Have fun fixing the video.
I'm not going to do anything about that.
What were we talking about? Oh, the luggage. I said we have Alaska
checking
cards,
your kids and luggage.
We all get to check the bags. But it's going to be so much having 2 checked baggage, probably 2 carry-ons, a stroller.
Yeah.
2 kids that can't carry shit for themselves.
No, you can't trust kids that age to carry anything. They're definitely going to leave it behind.
So I'm just going to be like, all right, let's go. All right.
What's your luggage situation look like? Do you have like relatively new luggage? Because luggage has gotten way better, I would say, in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah. So I have a carry-on that's nicer, that's newer, that I travel with when I'm going to cons and stuff. I had bought one for Wiferton, a decent Samsonite one.
Yeah.
Our dog, within the first month of having him, chewed the zipper off of it, and it was like a brand new luggage. So we have to get that fixed.
So you had to put the dog down? Bad. I understand.
Good Lord. Oh man. Anyways, so we're not gonna be able to get that fixed in time. So we have like really old luggage, like stuff I used to do, like take on drum corps summer trips with. So like 20-year-old, 15, 20-year-old luggage.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, the new luggage with like the 4 wheels, so much nicer. Even like the old stuff with the 2 wheels, where you had to like lean it over, was kind of a pain in the ass. With the 4 wheels now, that's way nicer. Yeah. Well, that's good. It seems relatively easy to use then.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. We'll figure it out.
Can you fit both kids in one? You get a little discount because now you gotta pay for every check bag.
I'm stoked though, because we really only had to pay for like 1.25 plane tickets.
Oh, how'd you do that?
Because we have Alaska. I mean, they're like $700 flights too, from Oregon to Florida. So we have companion fare through Alaska, which is like an extra $120. So we did that. We did 1 ticket, 1 companion fare, and then we bought 2 tickets with miles.
Oh, nice. So that's good.
Saved us a lot of money. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do my discussion topic before or after the first news story. Because they're related. There's a reason my discussion topic is what it is.
You can talk about it, and then we can go straight into the news.
All right. So, I'm going to do the news story real quick.
Okay.
Why don't you do the news story?
Sure. So Limited Run released their list of upcoming games, and there's a bunch of stuff on there that I didn't really list because it's a bunch of like
So many cool
retro.
things.
It's like new stuff, but or things that
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't care as much about. But some of the stuff they're bringing back. There was apparently a previously canceled Shantae Game Boy Advance game called Risky Revolution. So I watched this little like 4-minute video, and basically after they created the original Shantae Game Boy Color game, which is like a $600-$700 cart, did not sell well. And they were working on the GBA game when the Game Boy Color game was being released. So they were like going to publishers and being like, "Hey, we have this Game Boy Advance game. We'd really like to release it." And they're like, "Well, how are your sales?" And they're like, "Not good. Want to make the game?" And the publishers were like,
Tempting.
"Nah." Or they were like asking them to make concessions, like cut down the content or whatever. And they're like, "Nah." And so they just straight up canceled it, and they like archived all the stuff. So, Shantae and Limited Run games are very tight. I think Limited Run did the Shantae um, Switch games, and that was like one of the first games that Limited Run did was the Shantae
Yeah.
remake on the Switch. So they are going to redo the Game Boy Advance game as a cart, I believe, which is super cool because
Interesting.
I don't know of very many Game Boy Advance carts that Limited Run has done.
Yeah, I
So
don't know. I don't know
So
either.
that one's fun. They're remastering. We talked about this before. The remastering Gargoyles for the Switch, which is coming in the
Yeah, I'm
fall.
interested in this because it's coming in the fall, but there's no video of it. Like
No,
they're not showing anything about it. And that game is cool.
yeah, it's a good Genesis game. It's not a very cheap one. It is a solid title though, especially for a Disney game.
Yeah.
There wasn't a ton of great Disney games back then. They were either really hard or just clunky or whatever. Um, so the Castlevania Advance Collection was pretty cool. The
Yeah.
Castlevania Advance games are amazing. Plus, it has a fourth game, Dracula X, for the SNES, which is it feels kind of weird. It's like, yay, the three. I guess it's because they're what, 16-bit or yeah,
Yeah.
right, 16
I
bit.
feel like Dracula X should have been in the first collection that
You
had
would think.
all the 8-bit games and the 16-bit games. It just feels like it would have fit better there, but whatever. Hey,
They're like, oh shit, we forgot about it. Just throw it in the next one.
I mean, nobody really likes it anyway, so
The Gex trilogy, which I have not played any of those games, but a lot of people like them.
yeah, they are popular.
Jurassic Park games, which not the best games in the world, but they embodied a lot of my childhood, especially the Super Nintendo one.
Yeah, I might pick up that collection just for funsies.
You put in here Plumbers Don't Wear Capes, which I did see, but I don't have a lot of love. I don't really know anything about that game.
It was basically like a Skinamax porn game for the
Oh,
3DO.
hmm.
It's kind of internet famous now, but they're gonna release it, which I thought was
Yeah,
funny. So
yeah. And there is quite a few others. If you want to check out the list, you can go to limitedrun.com,
yeah,
I believe is the website, or there's lots of news stories and stuff
yeah.
about it.
Even like right now, there's the Telnet shooting collection, which is like a collection of 4
Right.
shooting games. There's 2 Sega Genesis cartridges, El Viento Collector's Edition and Soldi's Collector's Edition, which come to you as Sega Genesis cartridges, which is kind of neat. Jamestown is up right now, which is a new game, but it's like a retro inspired shooter, like a top down vertical scrolling shooter. And then Vengeful Guardian Moonrider is up for the PS5. And that game is brand new, but it's definitely inspired by games like Shinobi and stuff like that, like retro inspired. And it's a very good game. So I like limited run games. What I like about it is that it gives an opportunity to like smaller developers or games that wouldn't necessarily get a chance to get a physical release. It gives them that opportunity, right? And I think that's awesome. So like I think Vengeful Garden Moonrider is a great example of this. Is that like that game would probably just get a digital release and that's it. But because there's like limited run, there's other ones of these too, like special edition and super rare games, and there's like a bunch of these companies. Yeah, and like they get an opportunity to get a physical release, which for guys like us, I think is really valuable because it's nice to get a physical edition of a game. However, there is a problem, and that is you can wait what seems like forever to get these games delivered. And I'm, just for funsies, I'm going to go through the games that I have ordered from Limited Run.
And their dates.
And the dates I ordered them. And I'm going to start with the newest first. And we're going to work backward.
Sure.
So in March, I ordered Vengeful Guardian Moonrider for the PS4 and the Switch. Currently, it's available for the PS5. I might get the PS5 version just for fun. I don't know why I need 3 copies of that game.
Can you cancel the PS4 version?
I don't know. That's a good question. And then also Steel Assault, which I have completely forgotten what that game is, honestly. It's like a side-scrolling, I don't know, it looks like maybe a kind of Metal Gear-y kind of thing. Looks like a Game Boy Advance game, to be honest with you. It looks kind of neat.
Metal Gear or Metal Storm?
Metal Slug.
Metal Slug, okay.
Anyhow, I've forgotten all about it, but I ordered it March 7th. Paid $100. Maybe it'd be fun. Do you have a way of getting a calculator going?
Yeah. Just want a total? Sure.
Yeah, I paid $121.09. That is in production.
Sure.
I also, on January 9th, I got a copy of Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time for the PS4 and for the Switch for a grand total of $69.97. Let's see. I do have a bunch of fulfilled orders here, but we're going to go find some. December 25th, 2022. I got the Switch Arcade Classics Anniversary Edition. This is a collection of Konami arcade classics. Jamestown Plus for the Switch, and the Glay Lancer Collector's Edition for the Sega Genesis. This is another one of those Sega Genesis cartridges. Grand total of $145.01. Again, December 25th, 2022. November 3rd, 2022, I ordered a book, The History of Sunsoft Volume 1. I don't know if they've released Volume 2 yet. I might have just missed it. And for the Switch, Radiant Silvergun, which I'm actually really excited about. That's a fantastic game. I can't wait to get my Switch copy. That was for a grand total of $94.04. On August 21st, 2022, I got the PS5 version of Night Trap.
That hasn't released yet? Jeez.
It hasn't been delivered yet. Hasn't been fulfilled yet. $43.28. June 12th, 2022.
Hey, our anniversary.
That is over a year ago.
Our anniversary.
I ordered the Contra Anniversary Collection for the PS4. The Contra Anniversary Collection for the Switch. I don't know why I ordered both of these. I just can't decide which one I want, so I just get them both because I'm dumb. And a game called American Hero for the PS5. And that was for a grand total of $117.79. And I think that is it. Yes, that's all my unfulfilled orders. Jay,
do you want to know? Do you
Yeah,
you really want to know the total?
How much money is Limited Run keeping in their savings account instead of my savings account?
What's your guess off the top?
$500.
It's close. It's closer to 600.
Okay. All right. But I mean, I think I'm not actually that plussed about this. I don't really, it doesn't bother me that much. Like I'm looking forward to get my games, but I understand that, they're trying to judge how many of these things they have to make because they're a small company. They can't sit around with a bunch of extra inventory. So this is basically pre-orders when you buy stuff.
Well, they do it a lot different now. I mean, when they first started the company, right, they'd make like 2,500, 3,500 copies of something, but the community was upset about it, right?
Because they'd run out, right?
And the resale value of those would go up like
it's skyrocket.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that's just the price we pay, I guess, for patience. But $591.18 is the total.
Yeah, I like it. Doesn't bother me that I have to wait. It bothers me, I guess, a little, but it's like, I think that's the price you got to pay. But I do think it's worth noting that if you're like looking forward to like getting something from Limited Run, it could take more than a year to get to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is a little while. I don't think I have any. Oh, that's not true. I pre-ordered the Turbo Duo. I was going to say, I'm not sure I have any like and I ordered 2 of them, so I have
Is
a
there a
hot,
release
like,
date on that? They said, did they say?
not
No, they didn't say.
I don't know. I don't know. They might have been vague about it, but so, yeah,
Yeah.
I have, like, a hot $500 or $600
The pre-order is
on
still
hold there.
available for that.
Yeah.
So it's not coming soon.
No. I thought that,
I'm
you know,
looking
the
forward
next
to you getting that because I want to add like Turbo games to our like list of
Yeah.
games to play.
I do have, I don't know, about a dozen or so games now too.
Awesome.
The next story is not technically retro, but I just
Uh,
consider TMNT as
you can throw
retro.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle news in any day, and I'm on board.
So they have a new movie coming out,
Yeah.
right? And it is called Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
And the style is interesting. It almost looks like a CGI claymation.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of the Spider-Man Into the Multiverse. Is that what those are called?
Oh, a little bit.
A little bit. Not like spot on, but it looks great.
Yeah, it looks
I didn't know about this
interesting.
movie until you told me about these controllers.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when it's coming out, but they're doing a promotion. And you know, when I first saw the story, I was like, "Oh, where can we buy these?" You can't. This
Yeah.
is only for a giveaway. They are making Xbox controllers that have pizza scents.
I love it.
SCENTS scent
Yes.
in them.
They
Like they
smell
have
as
these.
if they were dipped in pizza.
Yeah.
So no
So they have
change,
these
really.
like little like diffusers built into the controller, or like you have to remove them and put them in somewhere with like oils that are putting out pizza scent.
I love it. I think it's funny. I mean, I'm gonna try and win one of these. I think it's great. I didn't know about that movie until you put the story into the news here. And the movie looks great. I can't wait to see the movie. I don't know. The controllers, that's fine. It's funny. It's a gimmick, right?
Do
So
you
get
think that
some
this is going to
headlines.
start some kind of like movement for
Scented controllers?
scented anything gaming related?
I can't see a huge market for scented gaming controllers. Like,
Do you think we'll ever get to smell-o-vision?
I think that technology exists, it's just nobody wants it. It's like the, like technology has gone too far when like a guy farts on TV and you can smell it in your living room, right? You know, it's like because that's what it's gonna be used for. Like there's not gonna be a lot of like pastoral, like flowery scenes that you're like, oh, it's so relaxing, and smell the flowers. It's gonna be a bunch of shitty smells and you don't want to smell them.
It's going to be the new videos like, why does it smell like hot sausage in
Yeah.
here?
I'm gonna guess that the sewers the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live in don't smell like pizza.
It probably smells like, you ever been on like one of those water rides at like a Disney World or something where that misty, like mildewy smell,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
that musty, like
Yeah,
everything
that's no
feels
good.
wet in the
Yeah.
air. No? Yeah. 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 All right. I thought that was a fun story.
You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing come back. They used to make controllers that had like little fans in them, and they'd like blow cool air into your hands.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
nice.
Those were like third-party controllers and stuff.
Yeah, but it was nice.
So this was
Airflow.
tweeted at us. This next story was tweeted at us by Gavin, but I also saw it on Time Extension. It's
Yeah.
Antstream is coming to Xbox. They don't have a specific date, but they do have a price. And so for anybody who doesn't know what Antstream is, I had to kind of research it. It is a repository of retro games. And there's over 1,300 retro games, like some decent stuff too, like Metal Slugs in there and a bunch of other stuff. And they have challenges and like multiplayer and leaderboards and all sorts of stuff. So it's coming as a separate purchase. It's not like Xbox Game Pass or anything like that. And it is $30 a year or $80 for a lifetime pass.
Yeah. That's not a bad price. $80 for a lifetime pass, assuming it sticks around.
That was my thing. It's like, yeah, that's not a bad price. However, like,
Yeah.
what happens if this service goes belly up, right? Like,
Yeah, but it's been around for a few years, and it getting
yeah,
onto Xbox, I feel like it's definitely a good sign for it.
sure. Had you ever heard of it before?
Yeah,
Now?
I have heard it. Yeah.
I think I had heard about it, but I never looked into it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're the target demographic for this one because it's streaming. You're streaming these games, right?
Oh,
So it's like
Really? I feel like a lot of these you wouldn't need to stream because they're so low.
I agree.
Space.
I don't like. I think the service would be a lot cooler if it like downloaded the individual game to your device temporarily, because you're talking about like, not even megabits for a lot of these games. We're talking about like kilobits. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool service. It's not. I don't think I'm the primary target for it, and the price is right. I think $29.99 for a whole year.
It does say too in this tweet. I almost said tweeter. In this tweet, 1 in every 10 pre-orders will be upgraded to a lifetime subscription.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of neat. I'm glad for them. They got on Xbox. Hopefully that gets them in. Gets them into more.
Yeah, hopefully it sticks around for sure.
Yeah.
So, do you remember when we talked about how Sega like put a vote out there for the community? Like, what console would you like to see come out as a mini console? And everybody was like, Saturn, Dreamcast.
Yeah.
There was an interview with the president of Sega.
Yeah.
And he basically was like, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. You can't blame him, really.
In the interview, too, they're like, it might cost the same amount to make the mini consoles that did the original one, like to buy it, like,
Oh, like to just go out and buy one?
Yeah, like $300, $400, $500 for the mini.
No, it would not. You can't.
That's what he was speculating. That's what he was.
That's stupid. That's dumb. You can totally emulate Sega Saturn on one of those like Retroid Pocket kind of thing. So and those things.
I don't know.
Like
this is based on his interview. It says like the Sega Saturn is surprisingly high performance, so the difficulty of miniaturization is high. I don't think it's a case study of let's make another one because it sells well. It looks like it'll be a little bit longer. I'd like to think about it when we're in a situation where we can openly develop it together with people who have always loved the Sega Saturn and Dreamcast.
Yeah, I'm not buying it because you could, like Wilson just said in the chat, just stick a Raspberry Pi in it and call it done. Like you can totally emulate Sega Saturn on like pretty low cost chips these days.
I would agree, which is why I'm confused by this. I mean, isn't that basically what they did with the Mega Drive / Genesis Mini? Like, it's not like it's hardware emulation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a little box with a computer in it that plugs into controllers that you can play on your TV.
Yeah, this is sad to me. I get from a business perspective, like especially after watching, remember that PlayStation one that completely flopped?
Yeah. And they fire saled them.
Yeah, they had to fire sale them. Think about how popular the PlayStation is compared to the Sega Saturn. Like Sega Saturn is pretty popular with like nerds. Let's just call a spade here. It's like hardcore video game retro nerds, right? Like it's pretty popular, but it's not popular like among the Target or the Walmart buying public. You know what I mean? It's like it's just not gonna get a lot of sales like if you put this thing in retail. Like NES, Sega Genesis. I feel like Sega Genesis really, it's kind of like the only one that Sega has that really is gonna like pop at a Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. True.
It makes me sad though, because there's so many great Sega Saturn games, and especially in the US, like people just haven't played them.
If this could go for $69 or $79, it'd be awesome. But odds are it's going to be. Wasn't the Genesis also way too expensive too? The little Genesis, wasn't it like more expensive than the Nintendo systems?
That was like $80.
Which was more than the retail of, because
how much more than
I
Nintendo
remember
ones?
correctly.
I haven't bought any of them.
The NES retailed originally for like $69, and I think the SNES was $79 or $89.
Okay.
Retail. They go for more now because they don't make them anymore. But
yeah, Wilson again is right in chat. He's like the Saturn and Dreamcast diehards would tear to shreds if it wasn't 100% accurate emulation. That is also completely true. They're just so hardcore. Like that's the thing. You can sell a Nintendo, like a little mini NES, to so many people.
Yes. That
are just not going to be that critical of it, right? They're gonna boot it up for a couple hours with their friends, and then put it on a shelf or put it in a box in a closet and never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Sega Saturn fans are not like that. It's just a different thing. So I get it. I'm I don't really believe that it would cost a bunch of money to make it, but it definitely wouldn't sell very well.
Sure.
I'd buy it though.
So would I. Speaking of Dreamcast, I didn't know that they were doing this. The community is like bringing Dreamcast games back to Dreamcast Online,
Really?
like through the console. And the most recent one was Daytona USA. So you can like play against your friends on your original console. However, it's a really convoluted process to like get online with your Dreamcast. Of
course,
the only problem.
Yeah. That's so cool though.
It is, yeah.
I might try this one time.
One time, get my ass handed to me and never again.
Yeah, I still have I have the Ethernet connector for my Dreamcast around somewhere. I'd have to look for it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like
they're not very expensive, the Ethernet things and like the
I mean, why would you ever want one?
It does have to be the North American version too.
Of the game?
The Japanese. Yeah.
That's fine. I've got every North American version of every Dreamcast game, turns out.
I'm pretty sure you can go pick up like a legitimate copy of Daytona USA for like $10.
Oh yeah, it's a cheap game. Most Dreamcast games aren't that expensive.
Yeah. There are like some of them are pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And then also a Dreamcast story. They're starting to bring Dreamcast to FPGA.
Yeah.
The developer said it could take a few years unless he gets some help. His name is Pixel Cherry Ninja.
Yeah.
And just the fact that they're starting this, is pretty encouraging.
Yeah.
And not just for Dreamcast, but for like all 64-bit systems.
I've heard that name before. Has he done other cores?
How many bits is Dreamcast? Is it 64 or is it 128?
That's a good question.
Or was it like in a tweener? I don't remember.
Oh, he's got a YouTube channel. Okay, I've seen him on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know.
64. Yeah.
64?
Yeah. But thinking about N64, Dreamcast,
yeah,
PlayStation, all of those coming to FPGA would be pretty dope.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna move up this story a little bit because there's another story about the Mister, and that's the N64 Mister core is progressing nicely. It's going faster than they thought, which is pretty neat. That was one.
It supposedly wasn't going to be able to be done, right? They were like, it's impossible.
When I first got into Mister, they're like, nah, N64 is probably the limit. Like, we're probably not going to be able to get it on, but that looks to be changing. It looks like N64 is going to get on there.
Hopefully they can up-res stuff too. That'd be pretty dope.
Maybe.
Briar's face is not encouraging there.
N64 is kind of where I start to go to emulation on a PC because you can like start playing games at like 6K or 4K and like it can be fun to mess around.
Ray tracing N64 games, I've seen those. Wild.
Yeah, like the PC version of Mario 64.
Super Mario 64.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of excitement in the Mister. Like the Mister is just getting cooler and cooler. The Sega Saturn core is like 80% done. Wilson was saying in chat, like there's some cool stuff happening on Mister, and I'm constantly using that thing. Whenever most games that we play for the show, I play on a Mister.
I think whenever I decide to sell off a large chunk of my collection, because it probably will happen, I'll probably just pick up a Mister.
Yeah. Oh, I think with the Dreamcast, he said that probably will not work on the Mister, right? This is like probably going to be like FPGA to be determined in the future.
Yeah, probably. There would need to be a more powerful FPGA module, it says. Yeah. So the last story that I put on here, Briar's got a few other ones.
The best story.
But I figured Briar would enjoy this. So they are creating real physical Ryu gloves from Street Fighter V.
Yeah.
But they're not for sale internationally.
No.
They're $70. They are, very whatever they call them.
They're like sparring gloves.
Yeah, they're very closely designed to actually look like the Street Fighter ones. Yeah. And I don't know, so I think that they just make sounds. when you do the motions with them, I don't think you can actually tie them to the game. I think it's literally just sounds.
Yeah, like certain movements you can make and it'll do like a sound.
Hadouken!
Yeah.
Hadouken! Shoryuken! But yeah, there's like a little video there on YouTube of like the guy doing it. And...
Yeah, I don't care about the sounds. I almost wished for like they'd make it $10 less and didn't have the sounds or release it in the US. But I just want these things like hanging like from my like yeah, like like Rocky Balboa's boxing gloves.
Yeah.
Except they're reused like sparring gloves from Street Fighter V. I love it. I love these things so much. I hope I can find a way to get them. They're not coming out, I think, till September. I thought I read.
September, yeah.
September 15th. And not internationally. So
until September 15th.
Oh, so I gotta get them now.
They started July 20th.
I wonder if I can get them through like Play Asia or something. I don't know. I'll have to find out.
Yeah. There you go. Briar's got some more stuff.
Yeah, this is a cool story. Atari has launched collectible arcade circuit boards of retro classics. So these are actual circuit boards that they're recreating from like based on the the old circuit boards from their old arcade classics back in the day. And they're collectibles, but you could also, they are fully functioning. You could use them to replace faulty circuit boards. Like, let's say you had like
in a cabinet.
Yeah, a cabinet, like a arcade cabinet, like big circuit boards, like, like big circuit boards. They look kind of cool. Like they're definitely like collectible quality. I thought this was just kind of a neat thing. Like what a great idea. It's like, let's say you really love like a certain Atari game. Like, I don't know, what's a good Atari game from back in the day?
Space Invaders.
Sure, Space Invader. Was Space Invaders Atari?
It was on Atari. I don't
know. And then you bring that home. You could either like just hang it on your wall and be like, look at that. That's like, one of my favorite games as a kid. I used to play in the arcade. Or just like a cool piece of wall art. Or let's say you have an actual arcade machine that's got a faulty PCB because it's 50 years old. You stick it in there and get it working again. Cool.
I'm trying to figure out Atari arcade games. There's a ton. It does show Space Invaders here.
Okay.
Pole Position, Pac-Man, Asteroids, Missile Command.
I thought Pac-Man was Namco. I don't know. Honestly, these games are kind of...
Maybe it's just showing like arcade games that came to...
They're just like random arcade games from the 80s.
Breakout, Centipede, Missile Command.
Oh, there you go. Wilson just put it in chat. All the games that are being produced. Lunar Lander, Warlords, Major Havoc, Gravatar, and Black Widow.
Not the ones that you would... I don't recognize any of those.
Well, I don't think you were in the arcades in the 80s.
No, 90s.
That's why. Next story is Biker Mice from Mars is set to return in a new animated series. This was it was kind of like I don't know. I would say it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, kind of like not rip off, but inspired by a cartoon that came out in the 90s. There was also a Super Nintendo game that I think was like an isometric racing game.
Yes, it's an expensive game.
It's kind of neat that this one's making a comeback. I haven't thought about the Biker Mice from Mars in a long time.
It's being co-produced by Ryan Reynolds too.
Interesting.
He has his like fingers in a lot of pots.
Yeah, he's got a lot of money. He just kind of likes to spread around.
I never watched this show, actually. I do own the SNES game, but I haven't played it before.
Oh, really?
I think it's actually pretty decent, of all things.
There's a lost Taito game, Crescent Tail, resurfacing 26 years later. This was only available on a karaoke machine that Taito made.
Like in Japan?
Yeah,
that
in
doesn't
Japan.
Sound like an American thing. I was like, that.
And everybody just kind of thought it was lost. But like I can't remember. One of the developers basically was like, "Wait, well, actually, I still have a copy, or I still have like the files for it," and they released it. So it's
just as
it's
like
back.
a ROM, or are they like a proper release?
Yeah, ROM. No, it probably won't get a real release.
Cool.
Analog Pocket supplies finally catched up. That's nice to hear. So now it's like you only have to wait a month instead of like a year. You know, it's nice to hear that. How do you feel about your Analog Pocket? You've had it for a year longer than I've had it. You don't play it too often, do you?
No. Maybe I should. No, I was like, maybe I should take it to Disney World, and I was like, I'm traveling with my 2 kids. I probably shouldn't. Maybe I'll take it to TwitchCon.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be nice on a plane.
Yeah.
The nice thing about what I really like about it is that, like, you know, we played Little Sampson this week, and what I can do is I can sit there with my Analog Pocket on the couch, sit next to my wife while we're watching, you know, I don't know, we'll watch a movie or watch a TV show, and I can be sitting there playing Little Sampson, you know, on the Analog Pocket, and then I can plug it into the dock and start playing on the TV when she goes to bed, continue playing it. It's just a convenient little device. I really like it. I think it's pretty well priced too. It's going up in price a little. Is it $220 now?
It was $229 last I looked. Okay. When it was originally released, it was $199, which is when I first pre-ordered it.
But I do find that I play it quite frequently. If you're looking for one, it is pretty good. Also, you can download ROMs. You can put every game on it. I don't think there's a PlayStation
that you
core.
own legally.
Right. Of course. What are you suggesting?
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's literally the only device that does what it does. It's the only FPGA cartridge-based, like, new screen device that exists.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't use the cartridge functionality too often, to be honest with you. But I do use it, you know, as like a mister that's also portable. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
My ROMs fell off a truck. All right.
So Little Sampson, what'd you think?
This game is really good. You know, this is a super rare game, right? You've gotten the notes that it sold something like 10,000 copies.
Yeah, so basically the story of why this game is so expensive. The Gaming Historian actually has a video on it. It's about 10 minutes long. Goes into the story about how, like, Takaru, it was a company based on some Capcom employees that left Capcom. So people that worked on Strider, Ghouls and Ghosts, and Mega Man. So they weren't happy with Capcom. They wanted to form their own company, so they formed Takaru, which they created a couple. Like, they created one before, and then they produced one or published one.
Games?
And then, yes, Little Sampson was like their last shot. And it came out in 1992, late in the NES lifespan, and they basically linked up with Taito. They didn't produce very many copies. There was no advertising budget at all for this, and the name, also speculation that the name hurt it because people might have thought it was related to the Bible or something, which it's not, because in Japan it was called Lickle, and
also not an awesome name.
Something about the bells, because it talks about the bells that you gotta get or whatever.
Lickle.
Yeah, Lickle, which is also fairly expensive in Japan too, but not nearly to the extent.
Yeah.
So they say that maybe around 10,000 copies were made, and you know, this was, I don't know, 10 years ago. It was 10 to 15 years ago. It was still a couple $100 for cartridge. Now it's just astronomical. But yeah.
Yeah, this game is really fun. So it's like an action platformer, I'd say. The first 4 levels are interesting because you go through the first 4 levels. You play a different character in each of the levels. It kind of introduces you to each of the levels. You play as Little Sampson, he can jump, he can hang on to like stuff in front of him. He can also wall climb, or he can grab onto walls and then like double jump off of walls, and he just shoots straight and he jumps. Like, he's kind of like your basic character. And then you got the dragon, who instead of double jumping, you can jump and then just like float and then move back and forth. So you can use that to like bypass a lot of enemies.
It's very mobile.
Yeah, very mobile. And the dragon shoots kind of like this kind of, it's not a wave, but it's kind of like a
J shape.
J shape, sure. It goes all the way across the stream, but it's got a curve to it. And then you can play as the Golem. The Golem is much slower, has a ton of health, has a short range attack, but it's a very powerful attack. You can kill things that you can't even that are invincible to like Little Samson's attack. And you can
walk
also
on spikes too. Yeah.
Yes, you can walk on spikes, and you got a lot more health. And then you can play as a mouse, and the mouse can, it's very small, very fast, can fit in small spaces, get to other places where other characters can't, but has very little health and has bombs that you leave behind, almost Metroid style when you're in a ball, which are somewhat powerful, I feel like, but are not, hard to be offensive with them. You kind of got to be pretty strategic. You don't want to get hit because you got very little health.
Right. You got to get close to stuff.
So you earn all those characters, and then the main game starts, and you can start playing the game, and it almost is like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES, where you can just switch between the characters at any time to best suit the situation you're in, which is kind of fun. It takes a little while to get used to, of course, but like depending on, maybe there's like characters that are shooting at you. It might be easier to go underneath, so you use Little Samson and just like kind of climb on the ceiling, like kind of hand over hand, and just go under them, or you can fly over them with the dragon, or you can just like tank the shots with the Golem, or you can like find out like a side route with the mouse. Like it's a little bit puzzly, it's a little bit fun. And then the bosses come along and they beat your ass. And you just gotta like, I don't know, with the bosses, most of them I couldn't figure out like awesome strategies. So I would just like put as much damage into them as I could by like standing in their face with the Golem.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times.
Switch away. And then I'd start like dodging attacks with the other characters. I don't know, this game, it looks great. It feels great. It's very responsive. It's just like all the characters feel different but very good. The music is a little bit annoying. I don't love the music. I don't love any of the sound stuff, but yeah, I found this is a real great game for the NES.
Yeah, some people describe it as the epitome of what a hidden gem actually is. Like, obviously, any collector knows this game because of the price and all that stuff, but the fact that it's a fantastic game and whatnot. I think the only thing that frustrated me while playing is that when you're Little Samson or the mouse and you go to climb on a vertical wall, you have to hit the jump button again to stick to it. So if you just jump against the wall, you just slide down, which can be annoying because it's not like, in Ninja Gaiden, when you jump on a wall, it auto sticks.
Yeah.
So
but that can be
on
annoying
this,
too, because sometimes you don't want to stick. With this, at
sure,
least you got to deliberately stick to it.
you do have to deliberately stick, but if you're going from wall to wall, you're hitting the button a lot and you have to time it perfectly, which can be difficult because you just end up sliding down. Sometimes the timing feels a little off. So that was really the only thing I think and I got pretty far in the game, and it's just the level had vertical stuff all over the place that you had to try to like change characters midair and then hit the thing, and it just wasn't working for me. I was like, I'm done with this.
It
but
does get
overall,
complex.
Yeah, it was very forgiving, and I played on normal. I didn't play on easy. There is an easy mode.
Yeah, you said in the notes though that easy mode you don't get to see the last level, so you can't beat the game properly.
Right.
I don't know how much difference there is either.
Yeah, there's no like power-ups per se, but you can get things to increase your health for each character. You can like choose which character you want more health. You can switch and choose which characters you want to like replenish their health.
Yeah.
Or get you can also get potions per character, which is like an insta full health.
Yeah.
Or revive if they die. If any of the other three characters die, they're like out, but you don't use a continue. But if you die as Little Samson, it like refreshes everything. The other thing too is that when you die, you start at the beginning of the level again. So you could be, really far into the level.
Well, the sub level. Like if you die on a boss fight, you'll start at the boss fight again. Until you have to continue, and I think then you got to start at the beginning.
Yeah. So, but you get pretty comfortable with each level because you end up going through them a few times.
Yeah, so it gets challenging, but it always feels fair.
Yeah.
And you have unlimited continues.
Right.
And there's passwords.
Yes. For like specific, like, however much health your characters have and all that stuff.
Yeah, I forgot to put the gameplay up.
I don't know. I couldn't find a lot as far as like developer interviews or anything like that, but it would have been really fun, if they like came out with a sequel for this. But just the fact that the company Takaru it was just very quickly in and out of the video game industry, which is pretty sad.
Yeah, it had to be tough to release NES games in 1992 when the Super NES was out. You know, it was like so much attention was on the Super Nintendo. This game is fantastic, but it's like, geez, it's just so overshadowed in that specific time period. I get caught up in that hype, and I used to even more when I was a kid. Is like, oh, I got the new console. I want games for the new console.
Yeah,
I don't want these shitty old NES games. I want the Super Nintendo games.
And new consoles came out so quickly. You know, it was like
they did.
At least in
Didn't
that
feel
era.
quick.
No, I mean between NES and SNES was 7 years, which felt like a long time, and then between SNES and N64 was like 4 years.
Was it
Didn't
really?
feel like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people have described Little Sampson as like the culmination of everything that developers learned over the lifespan of the NES, and like as far as playability and the way the levels feel and the characters and all that stuff. And they other than sound, I guess, but everything else felt like a triumph in playability and experience over a lot of the other NES games.
Yeah, there's a lot of complexity. It looks fantastic. It's very responsive. It's fun. There's not a lot of story going on. I don't think anybody talks at all, right? Like
there's no voiceover. There is story, and you can, if you read the manual.
I didn't read the manual for this one.
Yeah, it was like 10 pages. It was really short, but they did kind of set up the story that the wizard is doing something, and you have to get the bells to defeat him, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's well, I kind of found it funny is like I was describing those first 4 levels where you basically like it's like intros for each of the characters. After that though is all the characters like kind of go and see the king or whatever. And I don't know if that's a bell, but they all got to like get in the bell. But the dragon doesn't want to. So you have to beat up the dragon first. And then you can put the dragon in the bell.
I found that you can spam attack on the dragon, and he just sits there too.
Yeah.
The girl.
Okay.
So the story with the characters are they were all like human or the same as Little Sampson, and they got turned into the animals, I believe, by the wizard or something like that.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I highly recommend checking this game out. It's super fun. You know, if you like, I mean, it feels like you're saying like a pinnacle NES game. Like, it's basically as graphically impressive as they get. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Taito just has, I wish they didn't have this history of underproduction. Because, like, thinking about the other Taito NES games are also very expensive. Panic Restaurant, Flintstones at Dinosaur Peak, they're like upwards of $1,000 for just a cart.
Wow.
Or more. This is wild.
If only there was some free way to play it.
You got to tell me about that if that exists. I've been going out and buying these carts.
I've never heard anything. Oh, these guys also made Strider, Mega Man, and Ghouls and Ghosts. Is that what you got here?
The developers were ones that worked on those games.
Okay.
The ex-Capcom staff, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, those are some pretty top-notch games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this game. I'd definitely recommend this one. Definitely check this out.
Did you end up beating it?
No. I'll come back to it. This will be like a game, though, that I'll play for funsies for 10, 15 minutes just because I like it.
Yeah, my hands were starting to hurt with some of the
turbo controller is super helpful on this one. Woo.
Some of the attacks, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta shoot a lot.
It's like it definitely took a toll on my wrists and hands for sure.
Yeah. I have that NES controller. It's not here. Oh,
this one.
Yes.
You're talking about this one, right?
Yeah, and the top black buttons are turbo buttons.
Yeah.
And that makes
you don't want to do that with the jump though, but the firing, yeah.
No, but that puts in a lot of work. That's nice. It's nice to have. Usually when I'm playing
on the boss fights.
When I'm playing on in my retro games, I use the 8-bit do. It basically looks like kind of like a Sega Genesis or Sega Saturn controller. I really like these controllers because I really like the D-pad, but man, that turbo functionality is clutch in this game. Clutch. So, Jay, for our next episode, I don't know when that's going to be. We probably got to talk about that. I think it's going to be like a month from today.
Okay.
That's my guess, right? Because you're going to be traveling.
Well, we'll be back in time for the 8th.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe it'll be just regular scheduled episode then. Would you rather play a game on the TurboGrafx, the PC Engine, the Big 16, or would you rather play one on the Sega Master System? He's thinking. He's contemplating. He's making the little like the church steeple hand thing. He put it up to his nose. He looked down.
Trying to think. Is it actually TurboGrafx 16 or is it PC Engine?
TurboGrafx 16. I'm sure it's available for both.
I'm trying to remember. I have the thing that's frustrating is I have both the adapter for the Pocket and the Duo pre-ordered, and I don't have either of them.
Yes, interesting. We can always find another way to play it.
We've only done one Master System game.
That's true. Master of Darkness, right?
Yeah. Well, no, we did actually.
Phantasy Star. Too. Yeah, so we've done two.
How many TurboGrafx 16 games have we done?
Did we do Legendary Axe?
Not yet. No.
No, I've been saving TurboGrafx 16 so you get one. Because like I want to play Legendary Axe on this show desperately, but I've been kind of just like saving it. It's like back pocket, you know.
But I own that game too. So.
I own it too. I own the physical copy of that game.
Yeah.
It's not expensive.
Let's do Master System.
Master System? Okay. Yeah. R-Type.
It's a shmup.
It is a shmup. It is a side-scrolling shmup. It is a very popular one. It's one of the. It holds up incredibly well, I think, and it is available for both PC Engine, TurboGrafx 16, and the Master System. So it's going to be the same game either way.
Okay. I'm trying. Oh, good lord. That's only like $40. Complete a box.
Oh, really? That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
If that is a pain in the neck to play,
no,
it's
I
also
have the analog. Or are you talking just to people listening?
Yeah. It's the same game basically as the arcade version. Both the Master System and the TurboGrafx 16 version were really good. I think there's like more differences with the Master System version. Obviously, that's a less powerful console. But if you want to play along on this one, you can play it. There is a version on the Switch. I think it's called Dimensions EX. There's also available on Steam. And that has both 1 and 2, as well as upgraded graphics, like 3D graphics for both the games. And it has like modern conveniences like rewind and save states. And this game is hard, so it's nice. Nice to have some of those modern conveniences. But I'm looking forward to playing the Master System version of it. This is one of the I would say the biggest selling points for the Master System. They had R-Type and NES didn't. R-Type was a big deal.
Super Nintendo did though.
Had R-Type 3, but not R-Type 1.
They had 2 R-Type games, I believe.
Yeah, R-Type. What was the first one? The first one was real bad because it had a ton of slowdown. It was like a launch game. What was that called?
R-Type, Super R-Type.
Super R-Type. Yeah.
Is that not a remake of this?
Don't know.
And then R-Type 3, the Third Lightning, which I also do own.
Yeah. There is like, I don't know, approximately 700 gazillion R-Type games. They just came out with a new one for the PS5. I just bought it.
Yeah.
I think it's called R-Type Final 3.
56. It says 56 copies, but a lot of those are going to be like, same on multiple platforms. So, anyway,
56 copies. What does that mean?
56 different versions of R-Type.
R-Type, the first one?
No, any R-Type game on price charting.
Oh, like that includes like R-Type 2, R-Type 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also like any of them that would be on PAL or American.
Oh God.
It's all separate entries.
All right.
Sweet. I'm excited.
Yeah, R-Type is fun. Cool game. I'll be interested in what you think about it because this would be like what, like third or fourth shooters that we've done.
I think we did 2 on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, UN Squadron, Axel A. We did Lightning Force, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have we done any others?
Trying to think. I don't think so. Nope. Gradius.
Yeah, that one was hard. I didn't like that one. It was too hard. It was brutal.
And then Guardian Legend had some aspects of.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, so did Star Wars. Remember, Star Wars had some too.
Oh yeah.
Star Wars for the NES.
That was like the 4th game that we did.
Yeah.
4th or 5th game. I don't know why.
Someday I'd like to do the Japanese version of Star Wars for the NES. That game is fucking wild.
One that's not actually a Star Wars game. Yeah. That one.
When Darth Vader turns into a scorpion.
Or wait, no, that one is a Star Wars game. The one that we got's not actually a Star Wars game, I think.
Oh, it's not?
I can't remember.
I don't know. It's hella Star
Wars. One of the two. It might have been the Japanese one. I'm getting them mixed up. Anyways, do you have any pickups?
No, nothing this week. I got a bunch of stuff ordered though.
I've slowed down on ordering. Yeah. I've slowed down on ordering, but I had a bunch of stuff come in within the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
So this is like
Oh, you got a box.
It's not even everything.
Oh, some Game Gear games I see in there.
So yeah, so the lady that I bought a bunch of boxes from, they were like Game Boy boxes and stuff last time to complete. Her kids had Game Gear game boxes and manuals, and then also like Genesis boxes and manuals. So I didn't buy all of them, but I bought a good chunk. And I was just gonna quickly like go through and show you like Sonic Drift 2 for Game Gear.
Oh, interesting.
Mickey's Ultimate Challenge for Game Gear. Zool, which I've never.
That's like a puzzle game, right?
No, it's like a platformer.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know. This was the one that I was really excited about. Tails Adventure for Game Gear.
Oh God, he got his own game.
Cool one. Yep, Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one. Sonic Blast. This one's pretty beat up. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Yeah, that's a puzzle game. And then Dynamite Heady. So I got a handful more too. Just I think I got them for like.
So those are all empty boxes.
And manuals, and they have the game holders and stuff too.
Oh, interesting.
So, and then also I got a few for Genesis. So we got Mega Bomberman.
Oh, can I see the back of that? Is that like a real Bomberman game?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Interesting. No game in there.
Bomberman.
Just the box. That's a cardboard box. It's not a
cardboard. These are all cardboard.
Interesting.
Yeah. Phantom 2049.
Oh.
Which apparently is a cool game. I've never played it.
I've never played it either.
So
remember when they made a movie out of that character? It's Phantom. It was so
Did
bad.
they?
It was so bad.
This doesn't have the insert or the mouse, so I don't know. It's the Sonic Wacky Worlds Creativity Studio. It was
they made a mouse for the Genesis. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, this was Sega's answer to Mario Paint.
Yeah, interesting. I'll bet you it wasn't as good.
The big one, Rise Star.
Oh yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah,
yeah.
I do.
That's
own
a Treasure game, right? Is that made by Treasure?
Doesn't say.
Doesn't say. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm mistaken.
It just says Sega.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think it was actually made by Sonic Team. Now that I'm thinking about it, that wasn't Treasure.
All right. So, and then I have some CIB games. I'll go through quickly. We got Forsaken 64.
Oh, can I see the back of that one?
Yeah, it was like a spaceship adventure type game, like Descent, kind of, sort of.
Oh, I love Descent. I love that game.
It's kind of like that, but not as good.
Like box art's kind of neat, and it's very 90s.
Yeah, this Forsaken was also on PC and I think PlayStation 1, 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
This is another cheap game, Space Ace.
Now that's not the original arcade game. That is an actual like new for N64 game, right?
Super Nintendo, yeah.
Oh, Super Nintendo. My bad.
Looks like a platformer.
Yeah.
But just the graphics look so hokey.
Yeah. Don Bluth.
We got Turok 2.
Okay.
Which the fun thing about this game, this might be the second N64 game that I have that has the added Platinum Seller sticker.
Okay.
So this is the red box of Turok 2, but it's the tweener where it was a Platinum Seller, but not the Platinum Seller box because those are gray. So they put the sticker. This is just a sticker on the corner here.
Is that textured? Is the box textured with dinosaurs?
Yes, it is. It's like dino skin.
Yeah, that's cool.
Box.
That's neat. I like that game a lot. It had serious. You want to talk about frame rate issues? Whew. The N64 days were tough, but you took what you got. You took what you could get, and that was a fun first-person shooter that you could play with your friends on one TV. It wasn't as good as GoldenEye, but it was fun, and I really liked it. It was. I liked it better than the first one.
I think there's 3 Turok games for the N64.
Makes sense.
So, and then last but not least, Mario Tennis.
That game is fun.
Complete in box. I don't know how I didn't have this for so long, and I realized I don't know within the last year that I didn't have it, so it's been on my list.
Mario Tennis and Mario Golf are probably my 2 most played N64 games. And Mario Golf is the most. Well, back in the day, GoldenEye and Mario Kart, but now like modern playing games on the N64 now, it's definitely Mario Golf. I can't get enough of that game.
Yep. So that's it for me.
And it just feels so much better to play it on an N64 controller. Even though I don't even like that controller, it just feels right to play Mario Golf on an N64 controller.
I did pick up speaking of that, I picked up, somebody was selling their Switch controllers, the Genesis controller, the the N64 controller, the SNES controller, and the 2-pack of NES controllers. I got them for like half of retail.
Oh, that's nice.
And they sell for double retail right now. So somebody was just like selling it on eBay, and I was like, I don't need them, but I'll pick them up because they're cheap.
Yeah, those go on in stock on
I know, Nintendo.com, but you have to have a subscription.
Yeah, and you just got to get lucky that they're like you look at the right time. I think who's that guy Wario something on Twitter?
64
yeah,
on Twitter,
he'll tweet it out or he'll X it out.
He'll Z it out.
No, it can't be that.
We're living in a cursed timeline right now, I swear. Just sitting here looking at my Twitter feed, and it's got a giant X on the top left.
Yeah. It's like he's trying to kill that platform. It's like he's trying to kill it.
Just pay him $8 to murder it at this point.
I'm not giving him any money. No way.
Anyways, R-Type.
R-Type next week. Sega Master System, but honestly, you can play it on any system you want. There's Dimensions EX is a great way to play it if you look that up. It's R-Type 1 and 2. You can get some modern updates like save states, and I think there's a rewind feature so you can even like back up, because there's the funny thing about R-Type is it's not just a shooter. It's a little bit puzzly. There's a little puzzle to it. It's a slower paced shooter than you might be used to. And that's, I think, what fucks me up on that game sometimes, because I get like distracted. Like, oh, nothing's shooting at me. What's going on over? Damn it!
And I hit a wall.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for this episode. If you are around on Thursday, we'll be doing the GCX charity stream for St. Jude Children's Hospital. That starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll be right here on this Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/DCP_live. I had to read that off the URL. That is always a really good time. Even if you're not going to donate, you should come by. We got all sorts of really, really dumb things to do to ourselves. You can
blame me for this.
Really? Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to blame Jay for a lot of it. Definitely. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a bunch of people coming. I think we got 7 people total. We're going to be playing a bunch of Destiny. I don't know if we're going to play any other games this year. I think it's just going to be Destiny. We got a bunch of really crazy things happening. So definitely stop by. That's 8 p.m. Thursday. What date is that? Today is the 25th, so it'll be the 27th, right?
Correct.
So yeah, plenty of time if you hear this. Come stop by, watch that live, 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv, DCP_live. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.